Welcome to another episode of Wirecast Live. I'm your host, Andrew Haley, and we will be getting into a great show for you today. So don't worry, stick around. It's going to be awesome. I'm interviewing Steve Atchison, author, speaker, and a powerful influencer when it comes to creating and building your online audience. Stick around. He's got some great tips he's going to share with you today. This is Wirecast Live. Welcome back to another episode of Wirecast Live. I'm so pleased to be here. I'm so glad you're joining us. Thanks for tuning in. Share this out with your friends. Let people know we're here, we're live, we're answering your questions, and we are going to be diving in deep into how to grow and build amazing online shows for your live audiences. I have an expert on the line with me. We'll get into all that in just a minute. Before we do, just in case you don't know how to find us, we are here live every week on Thursdays at 2:30 p.m. Pacific time. We're in California, so sorry for those of you who are a little late in the day for you, but you can always catch the replays. If you do want to join in live, please come to our Facebook page or our YouTube page or channel, click the like or subscribe button or the follow, and you can get notified when we go live. We will also occasionally have other live shows throughout the week with great valuable tips on Wirecast, industry technology, and live streaming technology. So stick around for that or get notified on any of these channels. And probably one of the best ways to find us is to get on our email list. You can go to telestream.net/WirecastLive. That's the link on the screen right here. That's how you can get signed up, and we actually will just send you an email whenever we go live. It's an easy way if you just don't want to deal with all that social media nonsense. So definitely find us there, and we will see you here next week. In fact, we have another awesome guest next week, Jeffrey Powers from Geekazine, a very well-known technology review site and business, and he's a tech guru. He really knows what he's talking about. He knows his stuff. He does great videos and online tutorials and all kinds of reviews. He's going to be coming on. He's also been a long-time Wirecast user. He's really seen almost every version we've put out there, and I want to sit down with him and talk about the evolution of Wirecast and really get into what he's seen and how he's used it over the years. I think it's going to be a fun conversation. That will be next week, same time, right here on these channels, November 9th, 2:30 p.m. Pacific time. If you missed it, we had a webinar yesterday that was also pretty cool. It's all about the latest update, which just went out the door, hot off the presses yesterday. Wirecast 8.1, if you're a user or if you're thinking about getting up to Wirecast 8 and you're still on 7 or 6 or an earlier version, you should check it out. I really went into the latest updates in that webinar, answered a lot of questions, and also spent a lot of time unpacking those features. And the main topic, which is a question we get all the time: how do you stream to multiple destinations? That was the main thing that we covered. So you should check that out. I go into it. I talk about exactly how you can stream to multiple sites at the same time using Wirecast or other tools. If for some reason your computer's not powerful enough or your internet is limited, there's other ways to do it. So check out that webinar. It was a good one. I think you'll find it on our events page, which Deborah Lee has also handily put on the screen. Thank you, Deborah Lee. This is the best place to get notified for webinars, live shows, and events. So head out there. You can also just catch the replay of that webinar if you're curious. Okay, I think that's all I have for you for the moment. We do plan on bringing a couple new segments your way, so stay tuned for that. We'll be doing a news segment on the show each week where I'll just talk about some of the latest industry news and topics, so it's not just all about us all the time. And we will also be bringing some learning sessions. In fact, we did a little sneak peek of the preview, the promo that Deborah Lee was creating last week. So that should be out in full glory soon. I think we'll post it online when it's ready. Okay, I think that's all I had for you. I think now it's time to say hi to folks who are tuning in. Please chat, leave a comment, tell us where you're watching from. I picked that tip up from Guy Kawasaki when he was on the show. He was saying one of the things he always does when he goes live is he says, hey, say hi, check in with me, let me know where you're from. It does two things. One is it lets me know who's watching and that you're actively participating and joining the conversation. It also gives me a good sort of anecdotal survey of where the audience is tuning in from. And finally, it does the other thing. It lets you know that I'm listening to you guys. So it's a two-way street here with live video these days, and that's one of the fun things I like about this. So take a moment, chat in, say hi. I see Dave from Calgary, Josh. Thanks for watching, Josh. I don't see your location, but looks like your last name's Mars, so that's pretty good. Atlanta, Carlos from Atlanta, hey, welcome. On YouTube, I seem to have lost the link here. Let me pull that back up just a second. There we go. I see Deb, hi, welcome from Paris, all right. We have Michael, welcome, and Ninrod. That's a fantastic name, Ninrod Samir, and I can't read your. I'm gonna have to do a translation on that one. We have New York in the house. We have Florida in the house. Boston. Welcome everybody. Hola. Thanks for watching, and this should be fun. I would like to bring on our guest for today. Joining us from his home in Ireland is Mr. Stephen Aitchison, an author, influencer, and speaker and personal growth expert. So I really am excited to have you on today, Stephen.
Andrew, thank you very much for having me on. Really appreciate it. One wee correction. I'm from Scotland, not
Scotland, Ireland. Oh, I'm so sorry.
They're very closely linked. They're very closely linked, so that's cool.
Spirit, yeah. I think I have ancestors from both countries, so I apologize for that. I missed that one. Okay, cool. No, from Scotland. Which part of Scotland, by the way?
It's just outside Glasgow in the west of Scotland.
I knew it. Yeah. I knew it. Okay. So I don't know if all Americans think this way, but I like to in some ways pretend that I'm somewhat pretty good at spotting accents and sort of determining where they're from. So I thought I heard a little bit of the Glasgow accent from you a little bit.
Excellent. Well, we did. But a lot of people get mixed up. They think I'm from Ireland. A lot of Americans think I'm from Ireland. So it's totally cool. No worries.
Sorry, it's just total big American dumb mistake there. Okay. So Stephen, can you? I'm really glad you're joining us after a long webinar that you just did. So you do lots of content. I mean, you are a content creator. You're quite prolific. So why don't you talk a little bit about the types of content that you make? You were using Wirecast to do your webinar. You do live shows on your Facebook pages at Your Digital Formula, at the Stephen Aitchison Facebook page. Talk a little bit about where you came from, what's your background, and the types of content you do.
Okay, I started from a blogging background. That's where I first started in 2006. I've got probably one of the longest running blogs kind of out there. It's a personal development blog, and it's been running, as I said, since August 2006. And I quickly realized that it was all about creating content, and this is what kind of my business is built from. And if we think about it, that's what a lot of businesses can be built from as well, from the content, what they're marketing, what they're putting out there. It's all about getting that distribution of attention, and content is one big thing. And really, from 2006 onwards, it's all been about info products and kind of educational products with ebooks, videos, programs, mainly using videos again. So the whole the gamut of kind of content creation I've kind of done from 2006 onwards. And now Facebook Live is a big, huge thing. And Wirecast, I've been using Wirecast, I can't remember what iteration it came out from, maybe five or six. Started using Wirecast then. It's just been brilliant from there for me. Although one thing I was interested in what you said at the beginning about your webinar, which is I'm going to watch kind of tomorrow, not after this, is about how, because I've got a slow upstream, it's only 5 megabits per second.
Right.
So I'm wondering how I can use that to do more, because I'm very limited. I can't do interviews just now because of the slow upstream.
Right.
Which is a pain. But live shows, interviews, videos, stream, there's loads of different things, and that's what we're going to talk about today as well. Just maybe 7 or 8 different things we can use kind of a live show for, and the type of content we can put in that show as well.
Yeah, I'm actually really excited to dive into this. You have created graciously for us 8 tips that you can use, that our audience can use to build engaging live content, to grow their audience, and to help give you ideas for shows and things to bring on your show.
Yeah.
So we could jump into that if you'd like. We can bring that on right now. I'm sure that'll give us plenty to talk about over the next hour.
Yeah, that'd be brilliant.
Okay.
Yeah. But can we first? Yeah, I was going to say that. Why everyone should have a kind of a live show.
Right.
And I think, honestly, every niche, whatever niche you're in, or niche, as you say in America, whatever niche you're in or niche you're in, everybody should have a kind of live show. You don't have to go front of camera.
Mm-hmm.
You can still have a live show and not necessarily be front of camera. But I think everyone should have a live show, because people nowadays, especially on the internet, people are much more savvy nowadays. And what they're doing to read people and to read kind of companies and the kind of representatives of companies, they're reading people from watching them online. By reading people, I mean getting to know, like, and trust them.
Right.
And this is the one big thing about doing a live show. People are they're getting that eye contact from you as well.
Mm-hmm.
They're getting the energy from you. You can sense somebody's energy from a kind of live show, and you can pick up on their kind of cues, their body language and everything else. And you can it's just like meeting somebody in person. It's the next best thing to meeting somebody in person. And you get to know if you know, like, and trust them. And when they know, like, and trust you, that's when they're going to buy your products. That's when they're going to buy your services. But you still give away all that great information for free. And that's another whole thing about building up that know, like, trust factor as well.
Yeah,
so that's
I think
the
that's
big things about doing lives.
I think that's a brilliant point. So know, like, and trust. I mean, these are sort of terms that have been kicked around for a long time in the marketing and business world. And I heard another way of putting it. I think Seth Godin, I think he was saying it's just 2, right? Just if you have your trust and your attention, if you have your audience's trust and attention, it's really all that you're asking for. That's all any business ever asks for, is trust and attention. And then at that point, they'll trust you with their dollars or their money. So can you?
Exactly.
And I think that you bring up an interesting point. Why everyone should have a live show these days. We personally have experienced this. We've moved from more of the brand-based marketing, which we still have a brand. We still want the brand to stand for something, but we've now started to move into this personalized branding, where a couple people stepping forward to actually say, hey, I am the face and representative of this brand. I'm the face of this company. And I really am here to talk directly to the audience as a person. And I see that more and more. Do you think we're entering the age of the sort of the death of the brand, or the personalization of the brand?
Yeah, definitely, because I think that's been going on for a number of years, and I've seen it over kind of when I first started blogging, when I seen people doing videos and kind of just being, I call it authentic marketing. So it's just you being you. So if you're a representative of Wirecast, you're just being yourself. It's your personality, it's your sense of humor that's coming across. It's just you being you. So it's authentic marketing, but it's subtle marketing as well. So there's 2 types of marketing we really kind of think about. And the old style of marketing is push marketing. So if we're using push marketing, we're saying, buy my stuff. It's all about me. It's my company. Buy my stuff. This is how great we are. That's push marketing. It's old style marketing. It's like the car salesman, sleazy marketing. Whereas if you use pull marketing and just use yourself, you're probably the best type of marketing you can get, because you're just being yourself. You're using subtle marketing techniques like you used at the beginning. If you want to come to events, here's the events page, here's a link, just click on that, and then you moved on. That's subtle marketing. And authentic marketing is just using your personality, using your energy, using that eye contact with the camera, just using all the kind of things you do in a normal kind of one-to-one interaction, but you can do in a one-to-many kind of interaction. So I now can talk to 300 people at a time instead of talking to one-to-one, but I'm still getting that eye contact with them as well. We're still getting that energy exchange as well. And it's all about what you said as well, distribution of attention. We need that distribution of attention. And when we kind of get out there, like we're doing just now, this is us getting attention. We're not really craving or seeking the attention. We're just putting ourselves out there. We're having a good conversation, and people notice that. Come in, tell their friends about it, and join in. Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's why we need that distribution of attention.
And so you think live video really is the best medium for this right now? There's really nothing else quite like it?
there's nothing, because if you think about it, if you do a live show once a month, that's good, but are you getting distribution of attention? No, because people are only seeing you once a month. You know what people kind of like nowadays on the internet, especially, the attention spans are really, really small. And it's not, I'm not kind of putting anybody down. I'm like that as well.
Right.
My attention span is not that long. So I'll quickly forget about somebody if I'm only seeing them once a month. If you're doing a live show every day or every second day or every week, then you've got that kind of attention. You're top of the mind, so to speak, if that makes sense. So when you're top of mind and people are seeing you on a Wirecast interview show, on your YDF live show, for example, on another page, CYT Live, or doing interviews with somebody else, you're top of mind all the time. And you're getting that distribution of attention that we need as well to grow businesses. Because people are going to start asking, who's this dude, Stephen Aitchison, or who's this dude, Andrew? I'm going to Google them. They'll Google you. They'll find out about Wirecast, about your blog, about everything else. And this is how people start to find you as well. The more people get to see you, and not being in their face all the time or pushy, but giving great information, then that's when they're going to start to trust you. That's when they're going to kind of join everything that you kind of doing, and join in everything that you're doing as well and buy your products and services.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. So let's talk about that great information. So why, I think you made some great cases for why everyone should have a live show, why live video is so important, the eye contact, authenticity, getting FaceTime, being top of mind. So let's go to our next sort of set of information, which is really, different ideas for bringing that authentic marketing for content that you want to create and engaging content that's going to actually pull people into your live streams.
Yeah. So we all need kind of content. A lot of people, this is a kind of question I get a lot is, what can I do a live on? I don't know what to talk about. I don't know what I'm going to put in a live. I don't know what content I'm going to put in. And so these are just some ways. There's literally probably hundreds of different things you could do on a live show. But one of the first things I would do is comment on the news in your industry. So what I do, for example, just to give you an example, Andrew, is I've got a YDF live show. We've cut it down to once a week just now. But the YDF live show, I'll say, okay, here's the Facebook news for this week. This is what Facebook have been up to this week. This is everything they're going to be doing. This is everything they've changed so far. This is everything you can expect from them. So I'm giving people kind of future kind of details of what Facebook are up to, so they're not ever kind of surprised about a new thing that comes out or a new algorithm change or the testing they're doing in kind of another country just now. So giving news kind of details about what's coming out, what's going to be coming out in the future is a brilliant way to fill 20 minutes to half an hour content.
Yeah. So number one, let's put that up on the screen. Comments on your news in your industry. So that I completely agree. In fact, that is the first tip we will be implementing on our show, because one of the things I've wanted for a long time is to just to commentate a little bit, to keep people aware so that when they tune in weekly, they're not just getting the Wirecast news, which is great. We're definitely sharing that on this show, and that will always be just part of its DNA. But I also want to provide context. I want to provide larger industry, because Wirecast doesn't exist on an island. It exists live streaming inside the whole live streaming community and ecosystem, and it's a part of all that. So the more that I can help put what we do in context and talk about the larger trajectory of everybody in the the space together is something I'm really excited to do. I think that's more value that I can provide audience members tuning in here, and I think that's a wonderful tip. Do you have any do you want to unpack that a little bit on how can you what's the best source for somebody who's trying to stay a little bit ahead to provide the rest of everybody good news? Like, should they be following to the correct Twitter sites and watching their tweets like every day? How do you kind of stay ahead and get the latest news right off the presses?
That's a brilliant question, and what I've done, I've kind of tried to figure this over the years, and what I've found is there's usually maybe five websites or 5 blogs that are really keeping up to date all the time, and they're really kind of getting all the news information out there. So getting news from them is going to be your best way to keep up with the news. Instead of following everybody's Twitter or everybody's kind of news feeds or everybody's blogs, get the 5 top ones, because they'll comment on the top people in your industry. They'll comment on the Twitter feeds. They'll comment on things that have been said as well. So if you can do that and just bookmark 5 sites for top news in your niche, then you're kind of golden from there. That's where I get my information from. Social Media Week, I get a lot of information. Mary Smith, I get a lot of information from her page.
She's really fast.
Scoop It. She is brilliant. She is.
Yeah, she is. She's been on this show, and she's wonderful. She's a news feed all to herself. You're right. She's absolutely on top of it. So you don't recommend everyone just get a subscription to Reuters or AP?
Definitely not.
All right. Next tip. So what's your next tip for creating great content and that can engage your audience?
The next tip would be to review books within your niche. And this is different things that people can do. You don't need to do all of these, but this is just some great tips that you can use. So if you've got a book, like I've got a business page and I've got a personal development page, which is brilliant for kind of doing book reviews. So in the personal development space, there's loads of personal development books come out all the time. So, and a lot of authors write to me and say, can you review my book? Can you do an interview with me? Can we have this on the show? But sometimes I've not got a schedule for it. So what I'll do is I'll read the book, and if I like it, I'll review it. If I don't like it, I won't review it. That's just the way I do it. But you can review books.
Yeah, so you'll do a limited selection of book reviews, but they'll all be positive rather than do a slam piece. This was a terrible book. Don't read it.
No, I would never do that. I wouldn't do it to the author, and I wouldn't do it to kind of the people as well. It brings down energy. If you can keep your energy high on a live show, I think that's much better rather than kind of bringing the energy down, and it doesn't work quite as well.
Right.
But if your energy is high and you're positive and you've got a positive outlook and you've got a brilliant review for a book, then more people are going to buy it, which is good for the author, and it looks kind of good for me as well because I've given a positive review, and then I can write to the author, use that content and say, listen, I reviewed your book. Would you mind doing an interview with me as well? So you can use it to your advantage as well. That's
fantastic. I love that idea. So I noticed a couple people in the audience just leaving some comments here. Like Marissa is saying that, Maria says that it's definitely, she totally agrees that the vibe that you get from a live show, there's nothing quite like it, and you can really grow your tribe with it. So it's a great point.
Definitely.
And Poppy is saying great haircut. I don't know if she's talking about yours or mine, but I'm assuming yours because I haven't gotten my haircut in a long time. Actually due for one. And I'm also noticing, let's see. Yep, Maria again said good tip. So I think these are definitely hitting home for folks. All right, so the next tip you have, tip number 3.
Tip number 3 is for live training. So with live training, I think this is brilliant, and it's Facebook is really right for doing this as well. Not a lot of people are doing it, to be honest. So if you've got, I do this kind of every week. So I've got a kind of training product. You can do this in a number of ways. You can do it by a webinar, like a live chat. I've just come off a 2-hour kind of live training using Wirecast, feeding into YouTube, feeding into Kajabi is a platform we're using now. So you could do it directly to Facebook or use kind of YouTube or whatever. We're using Wirecast as one of the best ways to do it because you can flip between videos, you can flip on slides and stuff like that as well. So Wirecast is really brilliant for doing this. But live training on anything in your niche. So you've got a live show for a reason, and it's probably because you're an expert in an area or you want to become an expert. And to become an expert, you learn all the time. And the best way to learn is to teach, which sounds strange, but that's a good way to kind of learn as well.
Yeah.
So that's the best way to learn. So if you can teach that to somebody else, it kind of defines your thinking about it, but you're also teaching people at the same time. So you can do live training on kind of anything, any niche, any topic almost, and you're keeping people up to date. And again, it's building that trust factor as well, and the expert factor. You've been seen as an expert. So we have to use that as well for the live training.
Yeah, I rarely know what I think about something until I try to explain it to someone else.
Yeah.
So it's not until you start to teach somebody that you really clarify and learn what you really know. You know, you already know it. Exactly. It's in there somewhere, but you just don't know it.
Well, Andrew, I don't know if you've noticed this, but if you get questions from people, that you don't realize how much you know until you get a question from somebody.
Right.
Sometimes. And that's when you really find out how much you know about your topic.
Exactly.
And that's why I love kind of live Q&A, and that's another one, but I've probably jumped the ship here, but that's
No. So when I started here at Telestream, I started on the phones as a sales engineer, and so I would basically help. I had to answer questions. I had to know more than the person calling about Wirecast or our products, and that helped. I mean, nothing catapulted me, because if I didn't know the answer to something, I immediately had to go. They ask a question, I go, "That's a really good question. I don't know the answer to that. I have to go figure that out." Yeah. And then it forced me to learn, get back to them with a question, just repeat that over time, and pretty soon, the bar for the questions got higher and higher before I didn't know the answer. And now I'm pretty good. I'm pretty confident. About 80 to 90% of the questions that come in, I've got a pretty good answer for. It took a while before there, but it was real fast. Threw me into the fire, and we always said that when you were starting out, you just had to throw you out there, and you weren't going to know most of it, but you had to learn real fast. So it was good. Teaching is a great what's the word? Refining tool. It really helps you become a great teacher and learner.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Great tip. I'm also seeing that some of the folks in the chat are also agreeing. Live training is super important, says Anne. And she says, among all the other benefits, it also provides valuable consistency with the niche. Or the niche. So she says, I think that's a very good point as well. So that it sort of solidifies maybe the influence that you have with your audience and builds more trust.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's really important as well. Yeah, I think it's just one of the really important points that we should all think about when we're doing live.
All right, next tip for other content that people could use on a live show. What is live good for?
Live is brilliant, especially if you're starting to build up a following on Facebook, is to interview top people. I say top people in your niche, and I've got that in kind of capitals, because you want to go to the top and just say, okay, if you think about it, I heard this from Russell Brunson, and he talks about interviewing your kind of Dream 100, or talking about your Dream 100. So you get a list of kind of your Dream 100 people you'd love to interview within your niche. So for me in business, it would be kind of likes of Russell Brunson, Dean Graziosi, Brendan Bouchard, people like that. And even in personal development niche, it might be the same as well. So I would go to them first, just go to the top and just say, listen, I've got a page. You might only have kind of 10,000 or 20,000, but it's still big numbers to some people. So I've got 3.6 million on one of the pages. So I managed to get interviews with kind of some of the top people, which is brilliant. But just going straight to the top of your Dream 100 and trying to get interviews with them, it makes brilliant content for a Facebook Live. Plus, what you're doing, you're not only bringing in your audience, but you're also bringing in the other person's audience as well. So it's brilliant from that point of view. And when you interview top people, you then become seen as an expert because you're interviewing an expert. So you're then, if you're doing enough of these interviews, you're then seen as an expert in your field as well. And then you're using that pull marketing technique that I was talking about earlier on, where more and more top people will actually come to you to say, listen, I've got a new book out. Would you like to interview me? And I think, brilliant. So they're coming to you instead of you having to go to them as well.
Well, I think that was very meta. You felt like you just described what we're doing here. So I think that's a great tip, and I think it's one we have followed on this show for sure, and I recommend it. I think that it is very helpful, and one of our and actually it's fun. We just get to go out and try to find really great people like yourself that we want to bring on and talk about interesting topics that we don't know everything about, and access your knowledge and bring in the benefits that you bring to our audience, and hopefully share some of our benefits to your audience.
Yeah, and it's a two-way thing. So it's a win-win-win because you're thinking about who's the people that you're looking to win for. So it's yourself, it's myself, and it's the readers as well. So if we always think in terms of, especially in business, win-win-win.
Yeah.
So it's always with content, it's about you, it's about me, it's about the readers. If you always think in that point of view and everybody's winning, then you've got a kind of winning situation. And I think that's a really good kind of perspective to look at it from.
That's a great point. Okay, tip number 5.
Tip number 5, we have interactive Q&A. This is one of my favorite ones, and this is where you get to learn as much as the kind of readers as well. So if you're kind of an expert in your field, an interactive Q&A, it helps you on so many levels. So if you've got an interactive Q&A, you're having to think off the top of your head. But you know the answers already. But sometimes, as I was saying earlier on, you don't know how much you know until you've been asked a question. And this is where you really get to find your mettle by answering all these questions. But the thing is, you can be authentic about it. If you don't know something, you just say, listen, Andrew, I don't know the answer to that, but I will find out for you, and I'll leave a comment later on. So it's just about being authentic again. It's about being genuine. It's about being yourself and being authentic. But with interactive Q&A, you're literally interacting with a group of people because they're asking you questions. But the people not asking you questions are still seeing you kind of as an expert because you're answering questions maybe they would have thought of. They've just not kind of voiced it. They've not put a comment in for whatever reason. So from that point of view, it makes you look really good. You're answering people's questions, so you're kind of helping them at the same time, and it's good. It's just a good all-round tool. And the side benefits to that as well. When you do interactive Q&A, and I've found this, when you're doing it live especially, you get to kind of find a confidence that you never really had before, and then you can use that confidence to do other things like speaking. So I've only spoken maybe a couple of times in my life, but because of the live shows I've done kind of on Facebook with Wirecast, I've now got my own event that I do kind of every year, and we've just finished one a couple of weeks ago, and that's purely because of the live shows and the interactive Q&As, because I've learned to have that confidence and that knowledge that I've got. I realise I've got the confidence and the knowledge that I've got. You don't get that kind of anywhere else. And just interactive Q&As is just brilliant for that.
That's amazing. I didn't even really realize that. So you're actually saying that when you first started out, you didn't feel comfortable speaking in front of an audience?
Oh, no, not at all.
That's so
when
funny.
I done my first live,
Okay.
When I done my first live, I thought, because I want to be behind the camera, I don't want to be seen at all, because I'm good. I can build websites, I can do this, I can do that.
Yeah.
I can do everything, the videos and stuff. I'm brilliant behind the camera, but I thought I don't want to go in front of the camera. But I realised more and more people were asking, who's this guy, Stephen Aitchison? We need to know more about you. So I thought, okay, I'm going to go in and just go in front of the camera. So the very first time I'd done it, I was at ClickFunnels event in 2016 in San Diego. I thought, okay, I've got the little tick, the blue tick that you get from Facebook,
right,
which means I could use Facebook mentions. So I thought, I'm going to try it after one of the days at ClickFunnels. I thought, I'm going to try it. So I went on and I thought, I seen 2 or 3 people coming in and thought, oh, that's cool. And then I started speaking, and then I seen there was 10,000 people on at the one time. This was back when it first started.
Wow.
And I thought, holy shit, 10,000 people. But then once I got over that, because I said to them, listen, I've nothing to talk about. I don't know what I'm going to talk about. I just thought I'd test it. But we got chatting. We just started speaking. It was a normal conversation. And then I thought, wow, this Facebook Live is going to be massive. And I have to jump on it and I have to do it all the time. So I decided there and then I was going to have a live show, and that was it from there.
Bang.
It was brilliant.
Wow. Yeah. And it's such a good point about Q&A that it just naturally, when you're answering questions, you're focusing on the answer. You're not focused on your presentation, your speaking skills, and all this stuff. And I can completely relate. And I think I've talked about this on the show before with a couple other guests, that I myself also, not someone who's comfortable planning on being in front of camera, not in my plan. And naturally just had to start getting in front of the camera because of the job. And nothing really helps you get more comfortable, just like anything else, riding a bike, just doing it. And eventually got better and feel more confident, much more comfortable. And now crowds, it's not really a big deal for me. But I totally get that. And I think of the personal development space, you'd think crowd and speaking and all that comes with the territory, but it's so fascinating to hear your journey just starting a year ago, a little more, and to now. That's really cool.
Yeah, but you can tell when you've got a dead kind of laid back energy, laid back attitude, and you're very genuine and authentic, and that comes really across. But I would imagine when you first started, it was a wee bit different.
You could go back and watch some of the bad episodes, yeah, if you're curious. What's funny is that I think even today, one of our highest, most viewed episodes was, I think, our very first one, and it's pretty bad. I mean, it's not. We've come a little way since then. So Dave is saying that your authentic marketing actually is exactly why you it caused him to search you out, find your Facebook page, and now he's a follower and a like on your Facebook page. So he's convinced. He says that convinced him. So great job, Dave. Thanks for sharing that story. Anne says again, your digital formula has completely transformed her life, and in 1 year she's managed to not only grow a super successful blog, but also develop her own coaching business. So she honestly the confidence and the knowledge that you've given her has been amazing. So that's a very nice comment.
Brilliant. Annie's done brilliant. And thank you very much, Dave, as well. Really appreciate your comments there as well.
Mm-hmm. And I also see that we have Einar is wondering if you're from Scotland, and yes, in fact, Stephen's from Scotland. We established not Ireland, and he's near about Glasgow in Scotland.
Just outside Glasgow, that's right.
All right, so next tip, I think we have about 2 or 3 more here. So your 6th tip.
Yeah, the 6th tip is to launch a product, a service, or a book. So again, this is done in an authentic way. You can talk about your kind of products and services in a very genuine and authentic way as well. But you can use the Facebook Live to launch your actual product. So what you can do to build up to the launch of it, you just say, okay, in a week's time, I'm going to be launching my new product. It's going to be about this. This is the new thing that I'm going to be talking about, and this is what the product's all about. If you want, you can sign up for the kind of updates for it, and then just move on. So it's just it's almost like kind of skipping over it, but a lot of people are interested, and you talk about it kind of every day, but just very not in your face type of thing. Mm-hmm. But you just kind of talk about it in a very genuine, kind of authentic way, and your journey, your story about the kind of product as well, how it came about, why it came about, your journey with that as well, because what you're going to be teaching, whatever it is, you've obviously got a story behind there as well. So stories are really important for product, book launches, and kind of service launches as well. So telling your story and being able to tell your story on a live is totally different from being able to tell your story on a kind of sales page in the written word, because they can see your interactions, they can see your emotions, they can feel that energy again. It's all about that energy again. And a lot of people think that's kind of airy-fairy and kind of woo-woo stuff. It's very genuine. If you look at anybody, you can feel the energy, anybody on a live, and you're really connected to them. You ask yourself, why do I feel connected? And it's because of that energy that they've got. And we use this in business and in the personal development space as well. So use your Facebook Live to launch your products and services. A lot of people don't like that, especially like authors and coaches. They think, we don't like this selling business, we don't like this marketing. But that's what your business is built on. Mm-hmm. It's built on marketing, but you can do it in a good way, you can do it in a bad way. Mm-hmm. Just choose to do it in a good, authentic, genuine way. And it's not about getting away with it, just people are drawn towards it and they're pulled towards it and they want to know more about it without you pushing it on them all the time.
Right. Tell a story.
That makes sense.
And tell your personal. I think that's a great point. And do you also recommend? I assume most people don't launch a product or a business or a service unless they're trying to, make a living too, or at least supplement their income. So, how much do you advise people talk about that as well as part of the reason for doing what they're doing? I imagine, the higher mission is almost always the most important thing to talk about, but you also have to be realistic. If you're going to be authentic, you need to be honest that, you're also trying to make money, right?
Yeah, of course. So that's what we're doing in business as well. When you're talking about, you just say, listen, I'm running a business as well. I understand that some people are not going to be able to afford this, and that's totally fine. I'm still going to do these free live shows for you and teach you everything I know. But I've got mouths to feed, I've got a family to feed, I've got the car payments, I've got the mortgage. This is why I charge for my product. You don't say it like that, but you tell the story in between as well. Mm-hmm. So you have to be, when you make the decision to be genuine or honest and authentic, then all that comes out. It's not just the parts you want people to hear. It's not just the good parts. So you have to tell them everything. So from when you didn't have any money at all for the first 5-6 years of my business, I wasn't making a penny. In fact, I was probably losing money. And then I've kind of built up to maybe $500,000 a year. And when you talk about that, you talk about your journey. This is why you're charging, because of all the knowledge you've gained. This is why you can charge these prices or the low prices as well. Depends on your kind of product kind of pipeline that you've got.
Right.
So yeah, you always talk about that as well. That is part of your story as well.
Good point. Okay, tip number 7.
tip number 7 is broadcast from a live event. And I didn't realize the power of this, to be honest, Andrew, until we did a live event in Arizona. So we went out to Arizona to do the Your Digital Formula live event, and there was about 30 people there. And we thought, okay, we're going to broadcast live. But the way we did it is we spoke about, myself and Maria Flynn, we were talking about how to do a Facebook Live. So we were talking about this very topic. And we said, okay, we surprised everybody at the kind of live event, said, you're now going to do your first Facebook Live. We're going to set it up. You're going to go in front of the camera and just say why you're here, why you enjoyed it so much. And everybody done that. Everybody at that event, most of them have done their first live because of that event. So we turned it into kind of a live show. And so first and foremost, it was a live show. Everybody could see it. And we got about 15,000 viewers. Then it was a testimonial. We could use those testimonials for the next live event. And then it was teaching people how to do a live and how to kind of show themselves. And we kind of told them how to stand and things like that as well. So it provided all those kind of purposes in one go. And it was just brilliant. So doing kind of a broadcast from a live event as well, not just for that reason, but that's the reason we done it last week or the week before, and it worked really well. But you can do it from a live event, just like ClickFunnels, for example, or if you're going to social media week or something like that, you can show yourself as being there. You're talking next to people. You can grab people and interview them as well and get testimonials and stuff like that as well. So there's loads of things you could do around that. But I just thought that was a really good kind of story to tell you how we used it kind of last week or the week before it was this.
I think that's a great point. I think there are challenges that come with streaming from live events. There are always bandwidth issues and noise issues, and it's hard to really lock down and have a great quality stream. But if you manage to nail that, or at least avoid some of those obstacles, you can have some really great content. And I see this a lot where people are at a live event or at something fun or lots of people, lots going on, and suddenly they turn on their phone and they immediately use it as a backdrop to some message that they want to send out to everybody. And I was always sort of like, I mean, why turn on your phone? Why not just be part of this event right now? But I also noticed that when somebody did that and I was at home on my couch and somebody turned on their phone, I really appreciated it because I was suddenly, kind of included and felt like I was sort of there at the event with everybody, part of the people that were there. And I think that it really does make some really compelling content.
It does. I do. And I think that's the important thing as well. You're making so the people that were doing it with just this example last week, people were doing it, obviously they were part of it, they were doing the live, but the people that weren't able to come to the YDF Arizona event, they were part of it as well, because there was a lot of people that said, oh, I wished I was there, but they actually got to see it and they wrote to us to say they appreciated us doing the lives as well. So it's really good from that point of view. Like you said, you become part of that experience as well.
Good point. Okay, last tip.
Last tip we have, teach what you know to be seen as the expert. And we've touched on this before. So you do a live show for a reason, and that's to get your knowledge out there. So your knowledge is worth a lot of money to some people. Your knowledge is worth not just money, but your knowledge is worth a lot to some people, and it changes lives. Like myself, when I do a kind of the CYT live show, I just talk about what I've learned, over the years, what I've learned just last week, kind of the thoughts I've had, and just the knowledge about personal development. And I do the same with business as well, and I just give that all away for free as well. I don't give it away for free, I just teach it. It's just part of the live show. I don't say this is free information, it's just what I teach. And then people are drawn to that, but they see you as the expert. So there's something about live shows as well. It's almost like TV. When you see somebody on TV, you think, oh, they must be famous. If somebody's got a show on TV, you think they must be famous. But for a lot of people, sometimes you might not realize it because you've been doing a live for so long. For a lot of people that have never done a live, they don't really know how to do a live. They think because you're doing a live show every day, they think you're famous somehow. They kind of see you almost like they call them micro celebrities now. And that's what you're kind of like to them. So be seen kind of as the expert and show up as an expert as well. Don't curse and swear and do all that kind of stuff, but be seen as the expert and share your knowledge as well. And all that kind of culmination of everything else that you're doing draws people towards you, and they seek out your products, your services. And the YDF program that we've spoken about briefly in the past as well, that was born because people were asking me questions. They were asking how you grow on your Facebook page, how you making money from your Facebook page. And at first I thought, okay, I'll just give them the information. I wrote a kind of an ebook, a 20-page ebook, and gave it to everybody that was asking the questions for free. And then one day I thought, wait a minute, I could make a program from this, charge for it, and still do all this kind of marketing that I'm doing, the kind of free marketing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how YDF was born, and that's how it's grown into kind of $500,000 business a year, purely because people are asking, and that's it.
How do you draw the line between paid content and free content? And how do you, when somebody goes, oh, I just took your paid program and I paid you, whatever your programs cost, but I felt like I could have just gotten all that for free from your other stuff, or there wasn't anything in this content that I haven't already seen from your free content. How do you sort of straddle that?
Yeah, so what you're doing with the free content, so if I'm doing a Facebook Live, say we're talking about instant articles. Instant articles is a big thing we're talking about just now because it can bring in a lot of money for you if you do it the right way. So we talk about, first of all, you're looking at the possibilities. So you say, okay, instant articles that just came out, this is what some people have done, like some of the YDF members are getting $500 a week from it. I show them a case study of me kind of making maybe $18,000 a month from it. So you show them that, you show them the possibilities of what can be done. So you don't go into minute detail of exactly how to set instant articles up, how to kind of the best content, how to set up your blog for it and everything like that. But you show them the possibilities, show them, just say this is the way you do it, but you don't go into the micro details of it, or you don't go into the minute details of it. So you're given enough information just to say, I could do this myself. You give them actionable content where they could almost Google it and say, okay, this is exactly how you do it, step by step by step. But with your programs, you're cutting out all that kind of research, all that kind of looking at Google for it, asking other people, not doing it the right way. You give them the exact blueprint. So, but you give them enough information for free that they could use that to kind of do it themselves. But most people don't want to do that. They don't want to spend hours kind of doing that. They just want a quick way. And if you've got a program for $197, that's a quick way. It's saving them hours and hours. So if we think about it that way, I think that's how we kind of use our content.
That's a very, very good point. Okay. So I think I want to check in with our audience one more time, and then I have one final question for you. I think we'll wrap it up for today, but this has been really great. A lot of helpful tips that you've given. So Jared is saying he recommends keeping your live stream PG-13 so that all ages can enjoy your content and share safely. So a little bit, you don't want to go G because that might be just too not interesting, too bland, too friendly. And then if you go R-rated, you've really cut out some other people too. So I think that's a great point, watching your content.
That's a good point.
Damien says, Stephen has his finger on the pulse of online marketing. If anything, he seems to be a few steps ahead of the latest trends and what's coming next. Since reaching out to Stephen and YDF, I've grown 2 Facebook pages and to a total of 600,000 fans and started an award-winning website and monetized his passion. Stephen is a great guy. That is a pretty powerful testimonial, Damien. Nice job.
I didn't even pay Damien for that either.
I know, you should pay him for that. That was impressive. So I'd like to talk a little bit so Damien's question, comment, very nice comment, brought up kind of a second part to this question that I had. So the first is trends. What's coming? We've talked about live video. You think everyone should have a live video show. We've talked about creating compelling content. Is there and then to all this? Do you think there's something in the next year or two that you see also coming in to help either augment what we've talked about today, or will also either add more, capabilities to people that begin doing live shows today?
Yeah, I think that we, particularly Facebook, and I kind of talk about Facebook all the time because that's the kind of biggest platform just now for what we're doing. But obviously, YouTube are kind of catching up as well. I see them catching up because of the video content. But Facebook, if we think about it, they want to overtake YouTube and become the video platform. There's still a long way to go with the search capabilities and stuff like that. But ultimately, I think Facebook and YouTube are going to go the TV route. So they're going to it's going to be kind of almost like people having their own TV channels, and Facebook have brought that out already. They kind of pay people now to have their own kind of TV, as TV-like shows, as kind of short shows.
Right.
I don't know if you've seen that, Andrew.
I have.
But they brought that out very recently. Have you seen it? Yeah.
Yeah, and Apple's doing the same thing with, about all the apps and all the. Yep. So I think everyone's kind of creating original content and paying for original content.
Yeah, and I think so. I think Facebook are good, and you can do this almost just now. And put Facebook, they've got a Facebook app that you can see on the kind of TV screens as well for the smart screens that you've got for the TV. But I think ultimately it's going to be like a TV station, but people will get to choose what they watch without kind of all the annoying kind of adverts and stuff like that. And I think that's the way Facebook are going. But another kind of interesting thing that's going to be coming out, particularly with Facebook, is VR, virtual reality, and what they're going to be doing in that space. So I'm watching that space just now, and I see that kind of getting talked about more in the Google searches. You can see it kind of ranking higher and higher every month. And you think there's something coming with virtual reality. I don't quite know how they're going to kind of implement that and how they're going to get everybody on board. But that's going to be a big, huge thing in a couple of years' time, where everybody's kind of going to be doing that. I just don't know how they're going to be doing it yet, but definitely that's going to be a big part of the space. But TV, I think TV type content is going to be big for Facebook and kind of already kind of for YouTube as well. Just like Netflix, you're going to have kind of Facebook original series, kind of YouTube original series, just like Netflix are doing and kind of Amazon are doing as well. And I see it going more that way as well.
Yeah, and what's nice is as micro content creators, in theory, you have almost, again, these are black boxes, so no one quite knows what they're doing behind the scenes, and we've seen, in some cases, the sort of the big 800-pound gorillas can pay for premium real estate and feed recommendations, so they will always have that power to maybe override little shows, but these platforms always give a high degree of agency, fairly high degree of agency to users. And so as you curate your own feeds and your own streams, you could create kind of your own cable package that includes niche content like this right next to your original House of Cards series, and you can flip from one episode to the next. And I think that's going to be pretty exciting. That's never really happened before. I think it's a good point.
Yeah, and I think that's what excites me the most, just to see where they're going to go with that. And I can exactly what you say there. I can see it sitting alongside, and you could even get the likes of Netflix buying your show from Facebook and doing a deal with Facebook to buy your show. And you just go, imagine that. Imagine how that could bring up kind of the micro celebrities into the mainstream kind of celebrity, if that's your kind of goal.
Right.
I don't think that's a goal for everybody, but just have their own TV show would be a goal. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, great points. Okay, so then my last question, second part to this. What is the downside of this? What do you see as the downside of authentic marketing? We've talked about all the upsides. Is there anything that people should be aware of, risks or things to think about, potential, pitfalls or obstacles? Have you thought about that at all? Is there anything that you're seeing personally from this style of content creation that you see as just a trade-off for it?
The only thing that I've seen so far, on the whole, I'd say 99% has been positive. But like with anything, kind of just in life as well, you're going to get the people that kind of, what's the best word for it, kind of hate on you. So they're going to kind of give you pelters. They're going to kind of give all these comments. They're going to kind of troll you and stuff like that as well. Gary Vaynerchuk talks about it a lot. But the thing to kind of think about, because a lot of people, especially kind of in the personal development space, we've got a lot of kind of what we call sensitives or empaths, who are really kind of open to this energy, and they kind of puts them on a big downer if one person out of 1,000 makes a bad comment. But we have to learn to kind of focus on the kind of positives that this is doing. Like anything, particularly in social media, there's always good things, there's always bad things. But what the news tends to focus on is the bad side of social media. But they don't really tend to focus on the kind of good side of social media, what it can do, how many people it can affect in the world. Your show, for example, how many people that can help, just having kind of guests on and kind of what you're talking about with Wirecast and stuff, how many more people can that help? So they don't focus on the positive. So I think it's about not focusing on the negative. We know it's there. We know the kind of bad things that can happen with social media. But it's the same with life. It's not just social media. It's not just Facebook. It's not just YouTube. It's life. So just learn to kind of get that out of the way and focus on your main part of your business or the main part of what your goal is to doing that to make an impact on the world, I think.
Well, that's a great point. I think a good one to end on. Steve Atchison, everybody. Stephen, where can people get more information about you?
First of all, you can go to the site at www.yourdigitalformula.com, and that's the main kind of program page that we talk about. Facebook, you can go to Change Your Thoughts Today. Just type in Stephen Aitchison or Change Your Thoughts Today. You find it there. Twitter is at Stephen Aitchison. And we've got a kind of link there for you, blog.yourdigitalformula.com. Everything you need to know about Facebook Live, and you can type that into Google search as well. Or you can contact me personally at stephen@yourdigitalformula.com.
Change your thoughts today. I like that. Stephen, thank you so much for being on the show. You are a very gracious guest. I really appreciate the content you brought on today. I hope some of you guys out there got a lot of value from this. I know I did. It was great picking your brain and getting some of your experience and distilling that on the show today. So thank you so much. I'd love to have you back in the future.
Andrew, thank you so much for having me on. Really, really appreciate it. Thanks again.
Next time. And get a good night's sleep. Thanks for staying up late for this.
Thanks.
All right. Take care.
Bye now.
All right, everybody, that was Stephen Atchison. As you can see, really great, genuine guy, and has really perfected the techniques of authentic marketing. And if you're interested, go check out more of his stuff. He has a ton of, as you know, free content available for you, as well as other things and paid programs and services that he can help you with. So reach out to him if that's something that you're looking to do or do for yourself, for your business or your hobbies or your passions. All right, that is our show for today. Thanks for sticking with us for the full hour. I want to thank our partners for making this possible. We do this show with all of their technology, so thanks to all of them. And you'll see a new face up there, the Virtual Setworks, which we'll be bringing on for our learning sessions, and you saw a little bit of a sneak preview there. Again, look for that coming soon. We should be launching the first episode shortly. And I want to say, don't forget, there is a webinar you can check out if you want to find all the new features of Wirecast 8.1, which just launched yesterday. It's very cool. It includes things like copy paste, which you couldn't do before between documents. I know that sounds crazy, but you couldn't. It was hard to do, and now you can. It includes Vimeo Live and more snapping guides and other things that are very cool. So check it out. And we will be back next week, same time, right here with our special guest, Mr. Jeffrey Powers from the Geekazine website, and talking all about the evolution of Wirecast, something I've been wanting to talk a little bit about. And maybe we'll just broaden that a little bit and talk about the evolution of live streaming. So look for that. Should be a fun show. I will see you here next week, same time. Thanks for tuning in. This has been another episode of Wirecast Live.